and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel, guys. We are going to be reflecting on yesterday's disappointing result against Eibar, with particular emphasis on Araujo's reaction to his mistake, Philippe Coutinho's injury, Messi's response to that draw, and we're also going to be looking ahead to hopefully what is a brighter future as Victor Font announces his plans for the coming election. It's all coming up in today's video, so let's get to it. But if we do indeed start by taking you back to last night, and indeed the damaging result at home to Eibar, Barca 1, Eibar 1, Sport there coming out with the headline, another disaster. They clearly not happy with what they saw from the team last night, and MD there reflecting on what they say was a cursed year, not only highlighting Barca's draw against Eibar, but also referencing Barca's handball team as they lost in the Champions League final yesterday. But I want to talk here about something, trying to put sort of positive spin on the mistake that we saw from Ronald Araujo, because as we all know, it was a big error. It did lead to the goal. It was damaging in terms of yesterday's game, but I was so happy, and it was refreshing for me seeing what he did after the game, because instead of going off the pitch and just going straight down the tunnel, just forgetting about it, brushing that mistake under the carpet, he actually said no. He requested that he was the one to do the post-match interview. He went in front of the cameras, he spoke to all of us fans, and he said the following words. He said, "It's a real shame that we couldn't get the 3 points." He said, "And the truth is, the goal that we conceded, it was He said, "I take responsibility. I didn't realise the forward was so close to me." He said, "And when you make a mistake like that with our high line, it becomes very dangerous for us." He said, "It comes down to concentration. We can't concede like that." And I just think there, fair play to him. He's 21 years old, coming out after the game, holding his hands up and saying, "You know what, I messed up." Because that can happen. And we as fans are much more likely to accept that when you take ownership, when you take responsibility, because he's a young player. They will make mistakes. Not everything is going to be perfect at that age. And what's important now is that he goes away and he learns from that. Because you have to say, aside from that mistake, he was good again. He was commanding at centre-back, especially there when you look at the amount of crosses, the amount of long balls, the amount of corners that were coming into the box. Araujo, he was performing well, and he will now look to learn from that mistake. However, on a not-so-positive front, we do now move on to Philippe Coutinho, who, as we know there, pulled up injured in the final minutes of yesterday's game, and it was one of those injuries that looked bad. Before you even knew the extent of it, the feeling was that it was something bad, because it happened there when nobody really was around him. It wasn't an impact injury. It wasn't there as a result of a bad tackle. He pretty much went down with nobody around him, and the way that he limped off, it looked a bad knee injury. And unfortunately, this morning it has been confirmed. Barca themselves running the test, looking into it further, they have confirmed that Coutinho has an injury to the lateral meniscus in his left knee. That is never, ever a good thing. They say that treatment will be necessary, surgery will be necessary, and in the coming days there, Coutinho will undergo arthroscopic surgery on that knee, which could see him miss up to 4 months of football, which is damaging not only for the club, but certainly for Coutinho's Barca career. But I also want to discuss somebody yesterday who wasn't playing, of course, and that was Lionel Messi, who returned home from Argentina. He was in the crowd. He was watching on from the stands as Barca ultimately failed without him. And I think right throughout the game, you saw many pictures there of Messi and also Ansu Fati on the sidelines, and they were so animated throughout the game because deep down, they know both of those players, they're some of the few players in this team who would have changed that game, who would have made a difference in front of goal. Two of our most effective players find themselves right now on the sidelines. But of course, the moment that really took the headlines was when the cameras picked up Lionel Messi heading for the exit after the final whistle had blown, and you could see it. It was a clear head shake from Messi. He was so frustrated. He was so disappointed that this team again had fallen down. And it was very much a case of Messi feeling what we were all feeling. And I think that's something often that we do forget. And that's why I wanted to make this clear in today's video, because many times we seem to forget Messi is as big as a fan of this club as anybody. And that's why when you get people saying about Messi that he doesn't care about the club, that he's excited to leave, that he's happy, that he's going to be rid of this club soon, and everything like that, it's just not true. Because you can see there in that head shake from Messi, he cares. Deep down, he wants the best for this club, and he wants to be winning. And whether he stays here or whether he goes, nobody can doubt his commitment to this club, and I'm absolutely sure we are going to see Messi out on the field this weekend against Huesca, and he's going to be hoping, and we're going to be hoping, that he kicks off the new year and puts a smile back on all of our faces. But, of course, the big news from today is all surrounding the presidential election. Now we are very, very close to entering January. January the 24th is the date that you all need to mark down. I would say in your diaries, but that's not really where we are these days. So mark that down on your phone, because right here and now, this is going to be a momentous date for the Barca calendar. It's going to be the date in which our fate is decided. And today, one of the candidates, of course, one of the big favourites for the election, along with Joan Laporta, it's Victor Font, and he announced today his sporting project and ultimately matched up some names with some big roles in his plans. Because, as you can see here, the big headline from this project here confirmed today by Victor Font, it's the general manager that is going to be Xavi Hernandez, and the sporting director, it's Johan Cruyff's son, Jordi Cruyff. Right now, the first team coach remains as Ronald Koeman, with Garcia Pimienta there taking charge of Barca B. But I'm very, very interested there in that general manager role, and indeed the sporting director there being Jordi Cruyff. And those are the two that, of course, have been spoken about plenty this morning in the media. And I'm just interested there what you make of that, because Xavi coming in as the general manager. Right now, Victor Font is saying that general manager role will basically oversee everything on the sporting side. Whatever is happening, Xavi will have the final word on exactly that. He'll be above there, the sporting director. He'll be above, certainly, the first team coach. And I just wonder there how that dynamic would work if Koeman did remain in charge, but having Xavi very much above him in the pyramid. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if very, very quickly, if things didn't go well, if results were not going well, if we continued on the same trajectory, you do feel as though Victor Font would not be worried at all to switch around the general manager and the first team coach, that Koeman may well find himself out of a job, and you do feel as though Xavi there, very well placed to step in to that role at some point under Victor Font. What I do want to make it absolutely clear, though, is that Xavi is not exclusive to Victor Font. Remember, just a few days ago now, Xavi openly admitted that he would not tie himself to any presidential candidate. So Font here, of course, announcing these plans, which of course includes Xavi. That is where his project has basically been built on. But there's nothing really to say that in the coming days, Laporta, when he will have to announce his sporting plan, that could also include Xavi. We're going to have to wait and see what these next few weeks hold. But all that we have to do is hope for the future of our club, that the right decision is made. Let the best man win, but it must be the right man. Please do let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. What do you make there of Araujo's response to his mistake? What do you make of Coutinho's bad injury, which is going to keep him out there for several months of action? What do you make of that Messi head shake at the end of the game? And Victor Font's plans, how are you feeling ahead of the election? I will see you soon, guys. Of course, when all the news breaks, I'll be right here with you. Thank you for your support. But until next time, as always, Visca! El Barça.